Hello, folks. We are live. So, welcome to Art Autopsy. This is a bi weekly live stream with me, your host, Clint Carney. I'm a professional artist working in the film and television industry and showing in galleries all over the place. So, anyway, I encourage you to get out your art supplies and make some art right along with me. It doesn't have to be what I'm painting, probably shouldn't be what I'm painting. Just make whatever kind of art appeals to you. It doesn't even have to be a painting, it can be a sculpture, a drawing, whatever your art form is, just make some art. So thank you for watching, and I do encourage everyone to join in the chat. We've got a lot of cool artists that pop in the chat from time to time and that watch, so it's a good way to meet other artists and get inspired to make more art. So first off, I just want to start by saying a very special thank you to everyone who supports me over on Patreon. So thank you, Jennifer, Tango14, Travis, Anthony, Rachel, Derek, Violet, Jill, Charlie, Misty, Donna, Necro, Technicon, Stormy Dragon, and Sarah. Appreciate you guys. If you're interested in supporting what I do, you can find me over at patreon.com/Clint Carney, or if you just go to clintcarney.com, you'll find all of my links. So, this brings me to, if you are making art during this stream and you would like to share it with other people who watch, just email it to me at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com and I will share it on an upcoming stream. Which brings us to the portion of the stream where I showcase the art that was, pardon me, created during the last stream. So first, let's see who's in the chat first. Let's see. We've got Undead of Night. Hey, Undead of Night. He says, "Hello, Clint and the Carnivores. Eager to see what new art happens tonight." And Jennifer Goupil says, "Carnivores is pretty great." All right. Well, hey, thank you guys for joining. Appreciate you. Let's take a look at some art. So this first piece, and this is, I think, is a great example of whatever you create, it doesn't have to be a painting, but this submission comes from Zach Ward, and he customized a hockey mask, which I think is pretty rad. Zach, if you're watching, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're going for the Part 4 style mask. Am I crazy on that? I know you told me in the email, but I'm not looking at the email. But I love what you did with it. Cool aging, and like what you did with the chevrons and all that stuff. So great job, Zach. Thank you for submitting. And anyone, if I show your art, please feel free to tell us all about it in the chat so that everyone watching can get a little more insight on your process. Next one up is Jennifer Goupil, and this is an awesome swamp scene that she painted during the last live stream. And I'd like to point out there's some cool little hidden things in here. You got a little snake dude crossing the road, and there's like this shadowy figure kind of in the middle just off the side of the road, ready to pounce upon unsuspecting travelers, I would assume. So fantastic job, Jennifer. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this is acrylic. Is that correct? Let me know in the chat. So great job, Jennifer. And next up we have Liz, who also goes by the artist name Phoenix. And Liz is really been going to town, learning tattooing and doing a lot of these practice skin designs. I think this is maybe the third art autopsy in a row where we've seen some cool tattoo work done on practice skin from Liz. And Liz, I think your line work just continues to improve. You get better and better each time. These are really cool. You know, I'm a sucker for ghosts, so I love that. Yeah, great job. I love how the one little ghosty dude has a pumpkin bucket too. So yeah, fantastic. Yeah, great job all around. So thank you, Zach, Jennifer, and Liz for submitting. Anyone else who wants to submit their work that you do during the live stream, just email it to me at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. I got a little bit of promo to get out of the way real quick, and that is this Saturday I am going to be vending at the Mayflower Club in North Hollywood. This is for Hyena Gallery runs this, it's now a reoccurring, what do you call it, convention event, and it's super fun. I've been fortunate enough to be a part of all of them so far, and every time I go, I have a great time. I'm going to be bringing art. I'm going to be bringing some new sculptural pieces that I've made, some masks, and of course the standard music and some dry blood merch and all that stuff. But to that end, anyway, it's a free event, first off. So if you are in the LA area, no excuses. The rain should stop by Saturday, and it's completely free. And I just want to show you guys a couple of the sculptures that I've been working on as my way of saying sorry for not finishing a ton of paintings in between the last live stream and now, because I've been working on not only doing digital sculpture stuff, but 3D printing out the sculptures and then painting them, and there are a lot of them. I'm only going to show you guys two right now, just so you can get a feel for it. The paint job's almost done on these two. They're not done yet. It basically just needs some gloss and stuff like this. But first one here, this is the Gill Man from the movie Monster Squad. My favorite creature from the Black Lagoon knockoff design. I just love the design, originally sculpted by Steve Wang, and I forget the other artist's name. Sorry, other artist whose name I'm forgetting. But I always wanted to do my own version of it, and I'm pretty happy with how the sculpt turned out. So this was done in the 3D program Blender, which is also a free program if you are interested in getting into any kind of 3D visual effects or 3D sculpting and you don't have the budget or the patience to learn ZBrush. Blender, you can do this in Blender. It's a free program. Get it. It's amazing. You'll love it. So yeah, there's my creature. I just want to show you one more. And then I did a little rendition of Tarman from Return of the Living Dead. He severely needs some glossing up as well so he can look nice and drippy, but yeah, pretty happy with how these guys turned out. They're both the same scale. I don't know what that is, maybe half scale or somewhere in between a half and a third scale, but yeah, super fun. So I've got those guys and some other stuff, lots of robot squirrels, which you'll have to come to the convention to see all of my robot squirrels. Way too many robot squirrels. And then I'm also going to be bringing a lot of the paintings that I have done recently with Art Autopsy. My ghost with the pumpkin bucket painting, that's going to be debuting there, and you'll see the frame that I built for it, which I'm pretty happy with. But you got to come out to the convention to see that. And yeah, let me check in with the chat here. Oh, thanks for the nice words on the sculpture. Yeah, the mummy in Monster Squad is also awesome. So thank you everyone for the nice comment. Very cool. Okay. All right. Oh, it's, let's see, Vintage Peep Show A Go-Go asked, please repeat your email address. That is clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. So just look at the name of the YouTube channel and add an @gmail.com to the end of it. I can see I'm already getting behind on the chat. Let's scroll a bit and see what I missed. Oh, that is Margot. Hey, Margot. And awesome. Glad you're going to email in some submissions. Very cool. All right, let's get on with it. So I did finish one painting since the last live stream, and that is one that I almost got done during that live stream, but I finally finished it up and calling this one done. Let's see if I can angle it so it's not quite getting so much glare. It is still, I can't touch the front of it because the lacquer or varnish is still drying, but yeah, calling this one done. Thank you to Jennifer Goupil, who's watching, for encouraging me to finish it, because When I first started this, I was kind of iffy on it. I spent way too many hours on it, wasn't feeling it, set it aside for a few months, and then finally got back to it and finished it up. So yeah, here it is. It is called Reckless Driving Through the Graveyard at Midnight. Although I know Jennifer refers to it as the "What the fuck is that" painting, because when I showed my wife a sketch of this painting before I started it, that's what she said looking at the sketch. And so that title kind of stuck, I guess. But the real title is Reckless Driving Through the Graveyard at Midnight. And today's painting is brought to you by the absence of light. We are starting with a black canvas. I got to move this painting out of the way since it's still wet. I don't want to be flinging stuff into the wet varnish. Okay, so I thought we'd try something a little different. Normally, during the live streams, as you may know, I start with kind of a medium tone canvas and work from there. And I've been watching, I think fairly recently, in the last few months, Chet Zar has been doing these subtractive paintings, and that's, I don't know if that's what it's called. I'm probably not. Correct me what it's called. But he was starting with black and then going in with a single color or two and creating these paintings, just putting in the light from there. And I thought it was really cool. I've done 2 paintings like that in my lifetime, and had a lot of fun doing both of them. I don't think I've ever shown anyone those 2 paintings. One of them was done at a live event, so if you were at the live event, you saw me do that painting. That was 15 years ago, maybe. And then I have another one laying around here somewhere that I just did for fun, which is all right. It's not bad. But we're going to try it again this time. So I just put a coat of black over it. It's pretty dry by now. And yeah, we're just going to start. Today, since we're coming up on the holidays, we're going to do a Krampus themed painting. I did a painting of Krampus years ago, and I loaned it out to be used in a film. I have a lot of art that shows up in movies and stuff, and I loaned it to a film, and I got it back with a hole through the canvas, and I didn't have the right contract with them, and they just ruined the painting, and there was no recourse, which sucks. But I'm going to do another Krampus, but this time, because I'm doing this kind of start with a black canvas and just work on the light, I want to try something crazy, and I might fail miserably at this, and you're going to watch me and let me know if I fail or not. But rather than doing like a creature Krampus, I want to do a painting of like a glass ornament of Krampus, but like a clear glass thing, like a clear glass Christmas ornament of Krampus's head, which is going to be really tricky because you got to think about how the light is going to bounce around and all that stuff. And my reference for this is, you might imagine I don't have a clear glass Krampus ornament, but lying around I do have a bottle of Gamvar gloss. This is just what I use to varnish paintings. And so I have the set over here, and it's just in front of a black background, just so I can look at how the light comes in and hits that. And hopefully I can extrapolate this into something that looks like a glass Krampus ornament. It's an experiment. So again, you know, it may or may not work out for me, but you guys are here to watch me fail or succeed. Either way, it's going to be a good time. Previously on the channel, and I know a lot of you have seen this already, but I did, last year I did a video where I converted a Christmas animatronic of like a Christmas Carol animatronic into a Krampus animatronic, which was super fun. I'm putting gloves on today. I don't know why. They're here. Well, I do know why. It's cold in my garage, and that'll keep you warm for the time being. Anyway, yeah, I did like a conversion of a Christmas Carol animatronic into a Krampus animatronic, and So there's a video up on the whole process if you want to watch it. But the point was, I was at an antique store recently, and I saw the exact same Christmas caroler animatronic that I made that Krampus from, which marks only the second time I have ever seen that out in the wild. And the first time was at a garage sale, and I bought it and turned it into Krampus. All right, so on my palette for today, I am starting out with just titanium white, and I also put a little bit of Liquid Original on my canvas just to thin out the white a little bit. And we're going to start by sketching Krampus and see how that goes. See how it goes. All right. Let's see what's happening in the chat here. Zach says, I'm trying to work up a painting of an orc with a corn dog. Excellent. I like orcs and I like corn dogs, so I back that plan. All right. Here we go. Let's think. This is just going to go dead center, the composition. That's what I'm thinking, right? So I'm going to, inevitably, I'm going to have to fix, I'll have to do a lot of erasing, aka painting over with black. Right now I'm just getting the general shape, I think. So these high points here are going to be the top of his horns. And again, I want it to be a Christmas ornament, so we're also going to have some kind of structure in the middle where the wire or the hook would go onto. You know what? I'll try to get this somewhat symmetrical. Let's get that over a bit. I don't know why I'm being so precious with this stage. I'm just going to speed up. So I'm going to give him kind of these ears that stick out like so, like these goat ears. And so if anyone is not familiar with Krampus, I mean, I think at this point everyone knows who Krampus is, right? But it's like a European folklore figure that would punish the bad kids, kind of like a anti-Santa kind of demon dude. So yeah. Anyway, he looks cool. He's just a cool looking devil character. So I know Zach already told us in the comments, but everyone else chime in. Let us know what you're working on if you're making art. That when you're doing like a fantasy character like this, which, a non-human character, you can be kind of loose with the anatomy because it doesn't exist in reality, but I like to somewhat tie the proportions into, because it is a humanoid character, he's bipedal, has a human-ish face, so I do try to keep try to keep the basic rules of how I might draw a human face in there too, just to have it grounded a little bit in reality, even though it's not a real thing. Or maybe it is. Who am I to say? I don't want to ruin it for the kids if you're a big Krampus believer out there. What do I know? Krampus is real. Let's say that definitively. I've changed my mind. Krampus is real. He's coming for all of you. Merry Christmas. Okay. yeah, I mean, that's the basic layout, right? You know, so I don't want to go too crazy on the sketch because now, again, I want it to be glass. So now I'm looking over to my glass bottle and I'm seeing how there's a light. You can't see the lights in here, but there's a light over here that's coming down and hitting that there. I've got other lights over here, which you probably can see that one, are coming up from there. So there's kind of multiple light sources all throughout here, which are giving this glass bottle in front of me the character that I want to try to convey into the ornament here. And then also, um, usually with like blown glass ornaments, um, the part of the ornament where the glass is blown into is up at the top, and then over that they put like a little metal thing, which typically has like a hook, or not a hook, but like a circle loop, whatever, loop thingy, and that's where it hangs from the tree. So we want that to be probably like a gold or brass or whatever, and everything else is going to be glass. Um, Eventually, maybe not today, we'll see how far we get with it, but eventually I'll want to decide if I want, you know, it's going to be just like a clear glass, I think, but I'm going to want to decide if there should be other light colors reflecting off of it. Like maybe if it's in a Christmas scene, there's multicolored bulbs that reflect off of it. So that's a maybe, but I'll decide that later on. Let's see. Vintage Peep Show Go-Go says they're creating Yuletide bath salts. Nice. And Liz Miller says they're drawing mandalas on her iPad. Excellent. Excellent. All right, cool. I'm glad to hear some of you are making some art. Let's start. Ooh, this is a tough one. I might have bit off more than I can chew with this concept, but I'm going to start with this horn right here. And just try to think about how the light might wrap around this rather complex shape. If I can make it through this horn and have it look okay, then I think I'll be okay for the rest of the painting, but we'll see. Because I want the horn to have, you know, ridges throughout it, so and then I got to think about how that light is gonna, like what sections of those ridges are gonna be hit by the light. I know this seems like a simple concept, and it is, in that it's like a single subject painting, but it's a little more complex, you know, than it may seem. Just trying to think about how the light might wrap around this very complex shape. But again, you know, I might fail, which is fine. You guys will find out with me. All right. And I'm going to eventually come back in and cover all of this, or most of this black that I laid down. You know, I'm going to be clearly making mistakes as I go, so some of this black will have to be touched up, you know, or maybe I'll decide to make the background more complex and add some gradient back there, or some other imagery. I don't know for sure yet, but we will find out together. I was thinking of, because Thanksgiving's coming up before Christmas. I was thinking of doing some kind of a crazy turkey monster, but I feel like you can hang up a Krampus painting year round and it's okay because ultimately he's kind of like a cool looking devil. I don't think you can hang up a turkey painting year round, so just being conscious of the fact that if I painted a monster turkey, it would probably be very difficult to sell. We went with Krampus. I also have a feeling, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to. I probably won't even be able to tell if it's working or not for a while. I'm probably gonna have to get pretty deep into this painting just before I can even really judge. If it's starting to look like glass or not. So for the underpainting, of course, I'm just using titanium white and using the black that's already on the canvas. And then as we go, I'll think about whether or not I want to incorporate more colors. We'll see. Oh, might as well do some more promotion while I have your attention. I recently did a remix for my friend Ian, who's in a band called Fact Pattern, and that remix comes out either today or tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, probably tomorrow. So it should be up on all the streaming platforms. Again, the band is called Fact Pattern, and look for their newest song, and you'll see it'll say right on there, System Sin Remix. And sorry, Ian, I already blanked on the name of the song, but it should be easy to find. If you can remember the band name Fact Pattern, look for that remix, and go follow that band. They're good folks. It's kind of on the heavy metal side of industrial, but they're doing good stuff. And I had fun working on the old remix. And then along the lines, I don't know if I talked about this on the last live stream or not, but I also recently did a remix for the band Lost Signal, and that is out everywhere where you consume music. And that song is called Not the End of Me. And since that single came out with that song on it, just last week, I think, they released the full album, and it's really good. It's a really solid album. I like it. Lots of good tracks on it. Certainly worth checking out. Yeah, so that's Lost Signal. And then for myself, I am working on a new album, but I'm also juggling, I guess technically 3 movies at the moment, 4 movies at the moment, in various forms of work for different films. So yeah, so I'm not working on the album full time, but as I'm able to, I squeeze in work. I've got a ton of songs. I've got way too many songs. I have more songs than will make it to the album. So that's a good position to be in. And now I'm just in that kind of refining stage, figuring out, working up some of the songs to get them a little further along to find out if they can even make it to the album or not, or just die in obscurity. So yeah, that's my music news for you. Oh, if I can ask you guys a favor too, please consider hitting the the old thumbs up on the video, and if you're feeling really saucy, leave a comment, because believe it or not, that does actually help. The YouTube algorithm can see when there's activity on a video, and if people are interacting with the video by doing such things, they tend to show not only this video but more of my channel to more viewers, and that's always super helpful, because the more people that watch this stuff, the more ad revenue the channel generates, and the easier it is for me to keep doing stuff like this. So if you dig it, hit the old thumbs up, please. And if not, I still love you. Okay. Yeah, I think that's going to work. All right. I mean, this is all very rough early stages here, but that's the bones of it are there. This side is going to be brighter. The bright light is coming from this side, so mostly you want to, I'm thinking about how it is going to impact the object on the surface of it, but then you also have to consider, if it's a translucent object, how much of that is going to come and bounce off the other side of the object. And again, there's multiple light sources in the room, and if you're just joining, I'm using kind of like a glass bottle. I have a varnish as like a light source reference, so which is tricky because this is not a bottle of varnish that I am painting, but it is intended to be glass, so we'll see how successful that ends up being. Okay, let's see what's happening in the chat. Oh my God, there's so much happening in the chat. Let's see. Zach says you can make a skeleton eating a turkey, or eating turkey. Yes, I could. That's not a bad idea. Hans Trapp is my most second favorite evil Christmas figure, says Michael Garcia. Hey, Michael, I am not familiar with Hans Trapp. Enlighten us. Jennifer says, I have 3 sets of paintings that I did that only come out for Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. The rest of the year, other things hang in those spots. And then Michael says, cool dude. Liz says, so far, so good. Thank you. So Jennifer, that's cool. I want to see your seasonal drawings, or your seasonal paintings. Yeah, I could, I guess I could do the Thanksgiving one sometime, but I'd have to come up with the right idea that would make it something I would be interested in doing, I guess. And the other thing too, because it's like glass that I'm painting here, just thinking of the medium of glass and glass work, I guess when you're doing an ornament, you would have a mold, but I don't typically think of like those glass ornaments as having a ton of detail, more so just capturing large shapes generally, and then a lot of the detail I think on those things happens in the paint. So I got to think about kind of what, right now, just like these ridges of the eyebrows and maybe some furrowed brow that might be captured in there, but you're certainly not going to have the detail of like tiny wrinkles or anything like that, so I think that less is going to be more on that kind of stuff, just to sell the look. let's see. I have, just to continue my rambling here, I have recently watched a couple new movies that I really enjoyed. First off, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I went into it expecting that I would, expecting it to be a visually beautiful film, but I wasn't necessarily expecting to be head over heels for it because I've just seen so many Frankenstein movies at this point in time. I've probably seen them all, you know, or at least 90% of the Frankenstein movies out there in the world. But I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it quite a bit and stayed pretty true to the book. Maybe some slight variances, which I won't get into because I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it. But it is a visually striking film. Guillermo del Toro always kills it on the art department side of things. Yeah, the acting was great. It was unexpectedly violent, which I thought was cool. It was done well. And yeah, just super cool. So what did you guys think? Did you see the new Frankenstein? It's on Netflix, so check it out if you haven't. Pretty good. And then, what else did I watch? The new Ari Aster film, Eddington, just hit HBO, or Max, rather, I guess. It's hard to not say HBO. And loved it. Absolutely loved it. If you're not familiar with Ari Aster, you should be, because he is making amazing films. His first feature film was Hereditary, which you probably heard of, followed by Midsommar, and then last year he did a film called Beau is Afraid, which was just crazy. I don't even know how to describe that film other than crazy. And then this year he came out with one called Eddington, and not a horror film, more of a satire, drama, still lots of violence, and yeah, really enjoyed it. Great performances by Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, and the rest of the cast, whose names I am blanking on. Sorry, the rest of the cast. But yeah, really like those two films. Have you guys seen anything recently? And any recommendations for me that you've seen recently? Other than those films, mostly it's just been, you know, popping on old VHS while I paint and stuff, and paint sculptures and things like that. So there's those are the two new things I've watched recently. And if you are just joining the live stream, you are watching Art Autopsy. I'm your host, Clint Carney. I'm a professional artist. I do a lot of work in the film and television industry. And every 2 weeks, I jump on the old YouTube and do a live stream and create a brand new painting. And if you're watching, I encourage you, even if you're not an artist, if you're just curious and think you might want to try your hand at art, well, go get a piece of paper, get some crayons, get some paint, get a pencil, whatever your medium of choice is, and just make some art. It's a lot of fun, and by the end of the stream, you'll have something to show for your time here that you spent with me. And yeah, time making art is never time wasted. And if you do make art during the stream and you want to share it with me and the rest of the audience, you can email it to me. My email address is clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. And send me your art, tell me who you are, and I will share it on an upcoming live stream so that all of my viewers can enjoy your work as well. And I also highly encourage everyone to participate in the chat. Although most of my attention here is spent working on my painting, there are quite a few cool painters and other artists of other mediums that join in the chat throughout the streams. So it's a good chance to chat with other artists. And thus ends that spiel for now, to be repeated again later. Regular intervals. Yeah, this is kind of tricky. Kind of tricky. I mean, at the end of the day, I want it to look like glass, but I'll certainly have a Krampus head at the end, and hopefully it looks like it's made of glass. And if it doesn't, I'll still have some form of a Krampus head that can be turned into something. And again, I'm trying to think of those details that they might put into the glass, but they can't be crazy detailed just by the nature of that blown glass medium. They have to be able to pull it out of a mold, so there's not a lot of like crazy overhangs that you can get in there. Yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, just trying to explain my thought process a bit as I paint. And so the main light's coming from up here on the left. There's some additional light coming from here, and then also some of this light is coming through the first layer of glass and out the back. So I have to think about how some of that is going to come through that side and bounce off the other side. And it is all guesswork. So, and since there's nothing to compare it to, it's more about the feeling of like, does that work? I think it works. It looks like it worked. You know what I mean? So I just have to make those calls as I go, whether or not I think it's working. I'll try to correct it, and I'm going to end up getting back in here with some black and covering up a lot of these mistakes that I'm making along the way. They are plentiful. But I have yet to make a painting that didn't require correcting mistakes. That just comes with the territory. And also, just to repeat, for those of you who joined the stream late, if you are in the Los Angeles area, I am going to be vending at a convention called the Hyena Horror Market on this Saturday, and it is 100% free to attend. It's going to be a cool event. There'll be lots of cool special guests, and a lot of cool vendors and artists. Some of the special guests include Bill Moseley, who, if you are a horror nerd such as myself, you already know who he is. But if you are maybe not quite as horror nerdy as me, he's been in such films like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. He was in that series of films that Rob Zombie did with House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, 3 from Hell. He's a familiar face in the horror genre, and I've had the pleasure of chatting with him a couple times now, and he is a very nice dude on top of it all. So anyway, he will be there. His daughter, I believe her name is Marianne, is also a really rad painter, and she is going to be vending as well. They both did one of these horror markets either the end of last year or earlier this year. I can't remember which one they were at, but that's where I first got introduced to her artwork, and it was really cool. So my wife and I ended up buying one of her paintings, which now hangs in our living room. So yeah, anyway, those are a couple of the guests. Let's see, who else is going to be there? Tiffany Shepis, who is another cool horror actress. Pete Von Schally, who is an awesome artist. I've probably talked about him on the stream before. He's a storyboard artist. He's worked on tons of fantastic films from lots of horror stuff, like some of the Return of the Living Dead films, the Nightmare on Elm Street films. He's done all of the Frank Darabont Stephen King adaptations, including Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, The Mist, etc. He did the Chuck Russell's The Blob. Anyway, just an insane resume for films that he storyboarded, and he does really cool art too. So he's going to be there. Skip Crank, who's my buddy who does cool sculptural pieces and paintings, and I've worked with him on a ton of films over the years. He's one of my best friends. Good dude. He will be there. Anyway, it's going to be a really cool event. So it's this Saturday at the Mayflower Club in North Hollywood. Free to attend. The rain should stop by then, so I hope some of you guys can come and make it out, because it's always a fun time. I'm going to stand up and just take a step back so I can judge this a little better, see if this glass effect is starting to work or not. Okay, it's working-ish. Let me check in on the chat here. Liz has a suggestion to check out Kathy Wolfhart's ornaments for a reference. They're glass, but not much detail. Okay, good call. Blah, blah, blah. Liz hasn't seen the new Frankenstein yet, but loves the old one. Yes, so the one with Boris Karloff, great film, obviously veers far away from the book quite a bit, right? This one is a little more true to the book. If you saw the Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the one with Robert De Niro, I think it was Kenneth Branagh may have directed that one. It's kind of, this Guillermo del Toro one is as close to the book as that is. Both kind of veer away in different spots, but close enough. Real fun. Let's see. Undead of Night asks, have you been watching Welcome to Derry? I have not been watching that yet, but it is certainly on my watch list. I'm going to be starting it real soon. I'm waiting for my wife to be free for that, and then we're going to watch it. Undead of Night says it's coming to life now. I'm looking at a glass skull vodka bottle under a table lamp, and it's very similar to... Oh, nice. Good. Michael Garcia says, killer so far last year. I made turns at giant plastic balls, dark paint cards with Krampus' name in it, and hung it on my wall. Nice. Sorry, I keep forgetting I should read so that you can hear. Part 3, 4, and 5 are my favorite Nightmare on Elm Streets and Mist's favorites. Cool, yeah, part 3, 4, and 5. Those are good ones. Yeah, I think Pete, who I was just talking about, storyboarded 3 and 4, I believe. Okay. So I think I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. I think kind of the gist of the light source and everything is working okay, but I think my brush work is pretty sloppy right there, so I'm going to do a couple things. One, I'm going to squeeze out some black onto my palette as well, and then I'm just going to start refining it, see if I can't smooth out some of this brush work, and see if we can't get this looking a little fancy. Stream just froze here. Let's see. Nope, it's still going. Okay. It's a model shop in Burbank. They sell model kits, and I go there for different airbrush colors and things like that. But they also sell these very inexpensive paint brushes called Eye of the Tiger. I think Dynasty is the company that makes these. And these things, it's $6 for the three. You get three different sizes, and I am brutal on my brushes. I tear them up, you know, as I'm going. So the price is right on these guys. If you look for those Dynasty brushes, if you want to try out kind of using similar brushes to what I use when I'm using the cheapies, that's a good way to start. So anyway, I'm going to start with a fresh one of these. And again, look at that angle on there. This allows you to do line work as well as fill in stuff. It's pretty versatile actually. So there we go. That's my sales pitch for those brushes. Chief virtue is that they're cheap and they don't leave bristles, which a lot of cheap brushes have a tendency to drop bristles. Not these ones, but they're cheap enough to where if you're like me and are a little rough on your brushes, you don't have to worry about it too much. And I'm starting here. I'm just kind of cleaning up my outline. Oh, yeah, okay, those horns are not symmetrical. But the bastard of it is that if I make them symmetrical... Oh, you know what? I think, yeah, I'm going to have to redo a lot of this, I think. Let's see. I think if I bring this ornament more toward the middle, then this horn can extend in a little bit that way. That's the way to go. Okay. Let's scrub that off. Let's paint over that bullshit right now. Do do do. And I'm just trying to finesse some of these shapes on the horns a little better. Ugh. somewhere around here. I have a yardstick. Oh, here we go. Got the old T-square here, which I'm going to use here. I have a lip here at the bottom of my easel that I can wedge that into, and that allows me to kind of rest my hand on that, and therefore I'm not rubbing the back of my hand into wet paint and screwing it up. Undead of Night says mic is off. Is it still off? It's back now. Okay. Okay, yeah, I don't know why. I think my stream froze up on my end for a hot second there, but I'm glad it's back. If it goes out again, just let me know. And so, yeah, again, on my palette so far, it's just black and white. And then I also have some liquid, which is a medium that I'm mixing with here. And on top of that, I'm cleaning my brush off in odorless terpenoid. So from time to time, sometimes I'm thinning out the paint with the liquid, sometimes I'm thinning it out with the terpenoid, and I'm making those calls on the fly depending on what I'm trying to achieve there with each individual stroke. So kind of hard to explain that one as I go, but just giving you full disclosure on the materials. So out of curiosity, who watching is in Los Angeles in the general area? Is anyone in my neck of the woods, or where are you guys watching from? What states are you guys in, or countries? I imagine we've got people watching from different places in the world. Okay, feeling better about that tip of the horn there. Just needed a little love, but now it's feeling better. Let's see, Vintage Peep Show a go-go, Northern Rural Nevada. Michael Garcia in Michigan. Jennifer, SoCal. Right on, so everyone is spread out. That's cool. I always think it's cool when people find me from different areas. Hey, does anybody watch the TV show The Rookie? I have not watched it, but I did work on a episode this season, and I'm curious if it aired. But so if anyone watches it, let me know. Then I'll ask you a question about it to see if the episode I worked on aired. I used to get a lot of different gigs doing, whenever a character was an artist in a movie or TV show, I would be one of the go-to guys that would do a lot of art for characters in movies and TV shows. But lately, a lot of my film work has been more visual effects focused or producing focused. Uh, but I did get to do some art for The Rookie recently, so it was fun to step back into that role. And every time I see art in a movie or TV show, and it's not one that I did, I always wonder, oh, who got the gig? Like, there's some really cool illustrations in that new Frankenstein, um, and I'm curious who did them. I I wouldn't be surprised if it's someone that I know. I gotta ask a few of my friends, see if I can figure out who did it, because there are some cool stuff. There's some cool stuff in there. Let's see. Necro Technicon's from Louisville, Kentucky. Is that David? David Roy. Is that you, sir? From New York? Excellent. Um, uh, Undead of Night is in Newfoundland, Canada. Wow, everyone's all over the place. And Liz is in Chicago. Jennifer says, yeah, that kid from We Bought a Zoo was amazing. Yeah, that is one of my one of the films I contributed art to. That was a fun one. Yeah, okay, I feel good about this horn. Let's just block the rest there. See that horn? It's looking a little better than the rest. So if we can get the rest of this to that detail level, um, it'll start to be in uh, better shape at that point. I do want to thin out this edge, though. This white hitting that edge there is a little too thick. Just want to drop some black in and thin that down. Also, if you're watching and enjoying the show and you have not yet subscribed to the old YouTube channel, please do so. If that way you can get the notifications and stuff when I do more live streams. If you want to, come and participate in those kind of things, yeah, subscribe, please. We're getting dangerously close to, well, I think we just passed 27,000 subscribers, which is crazy. Those 27,000 people do not watch my live streams, though. So of those 27,000 people, I am mostly grateful to you guys who tune in and participate and chat with me during the live events. Makes it entertaining for me. All right, I got to think about reshaping this horn here to make it a little more symmetrical. As our left horn, or Krampus's right horn, I guess, but on our left was a little too long compared to the other one. But you know, that's all right. That's all part of the process. You just refine it when you notice the error, you try to correct it, and new errors will constantly pop up, and you just fix them as you go. Vintage Peep Show A Go-Go says this is the first I have seen you live. Well, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Michael Garcia says, have you ever heard of a giant Christmas folklore called Yule? A evil cat with bell on its tail preyed on people who did not get any clothes for Christmas. No, I have not heard of that one. I am sorely lacking on my knowledge of evil Christmas characters. Apparently, yeah, I guess I need to do some more studying. Okay, so this is rough or whatever, but I think that's already a little better on the symmetry. Basically, obviously, it needs to be worked up a bit, but yeah, symmetry is a little better. So now let's add this Christmas, the metal part of the ornament back in here. So ba, 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 ba. Okay, we'll add the detail to that later, but just getting that roughed in there. All right. On we go. Undead of Night says, if you had the time, this would be an interesting project experiment to finish the painting, 3D print a clear sculpt, then light it and do a new painting of the physical prop. Yeah, that would be an interesting experiment. Probably also shatter every idea I have about whether or not I can do this in my head. It'd probably make me self-conscious about if I were looking at a physical one here, just seeing how different the real thing would be from my imagination. It is cool. I mean, like, it's always cool to have if you have a reference, even if, like I said here, it's just, even just setting up this glass bottle with a dark backdrop on it just to get the gist of it, it's still very helpful, just have something to look at. I always have, shelves everywhere, not just in here, but in my home office and stuff where, there's just masks and sculptures everywhere. Lots of things to look at in terms of being able to judge how light and shadow move across objects. It's just helpful to look at stuff in the real world as much as you can. but I also think it's an important skill to develop, to be able to paint something that doesn't exist in the real world. But if you start by painting things that you can see, eventually you'll be able to extrapolate on that skill set and start to imagine things that you know that could be in the real world. Okay, that horn is still feeling off to me. It's better, but not great. All right, I'm going to move on from that horn. It's bugging the crap out of me, but I'm going to let that fester and just move on to another part here, and then hopefully when I look at it again, that section, it'll pop out to me what I'm not. Right now I know I can say that I don't like it, but it's a little hard for me to say what I don't like about it, so I'm just going to look at it later with some fresh eyes and see if I can't identify that. Okay, for those of you who have recently tuned in and you're wondering what the hell you're watching, you're watching Art Autopsy. It's a reoccurring bi-weekly live stream that I do. I'm a professional artist. I do a lot of work in the film and television industry, and every 2 weeks I jump on YouTube and paint something for your pleasure or displeasure, as it were, whatever you feel about it. And this week I am attempting to paint a glass Christmas ornament of Krampus. Anyway, but I do encourage everyone who's watching at home, if you have the inclination to make some art right alongside me. And if you do, doesn't matter what the medium is, doesn't have to be a painting, it can be whatever you so desire. Send me a picture of it. My email address is clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. And if you do send me a picture of what you're working on, I will feature it in an upcoming live stream. So there you go. For those of you who have been watching since the beginning, I'm sure you're quite tired of hearing me say that over and over again. But I'm not done. You're going to hear it a couple more times at least. Yeah, I'm finding that the shadow side is actually more difficult to think of, just how the light is going to play with it. This is certainly, I bet you this will be one that after today's session, once I hit a stopping point and we say it's as done as it's going to be for tonight, when I go back to it for another session later on, all of the flaws are going to be very apparent, you know. Then right now they're a little hard. I'm a little too close to it, so they're a little it's a little hard for me to say exactly what's working and what's not working, but we'll see. Probably won't go super late tonight either. Probably go until maybe 9 o'clock-ish. We'll see how the painting comes together and how we're feeling about it, but probably won't go super late only because after this live stream I got to keep painting on on all the sculptures and stuff for the convention I'm doing this weekend. So I just trying to be conscious of allotting the appropriate amount of time to do all that stuff as well, so that all of these sculptures that I spent so much time on can actually be finished, and so that I can bring them to show people. But I mean, let's see, we started at 7, it's 8:17 now. You know, we've made some okay progress for that amount of time, so I think by the time 9 o'clock rolls around, should be in pretty good shape. You know, I think I might, just for fun, start introducing maybe a little bit of blue into this. Just like have a color start to pop in. So let me look at my blues. Got a little bucket of paint here. Let's see. What shade of blue will we go with? I'm gonna just throw a little bit of cobalt in there and just see how I'm feeling about it. Let's see what's happening in the chat here. Undead Knight says your mind must be racing with visualizing the ornament and translating it to the canvas. I wish I had that skill. Yeah, it is. I'm not, you know, when you're doing something like this, you don't really know if it's working until it's done a lot of the time, but it's fun, and it's certainly, this is like a good practice kind of painting, you know, just practicing visualizing that kind of thing. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Mel and Alex, so sick. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. And Michael says he's still working on his Mask of Necrid from Soul Calibur 2, but he ran out of latex to put a 5th layer in. Oh, get some more latex, man. That should be a cool mask. Okay, I'm not gonna go crazy with the blue. I'm just like, I just feel like I want to put few little pops of color in. Just start introducing it now. I might not even leave these in. We'll see. Just gonna see what happens. See if it does anything that I like by popping in little bits of blue. As I mentioned earlier, I may end up once I feel that I've really captured the glass look, I may at that point go in and add some other colors reflecting around in there, as if there's like maybe Christmas lights in the room or so forth. There actually are Christmas lights in this room. I don't know, you can't see them on camera, but year round there's like a string of rainbow colored lights, but they're not super bright, so they're not reflecting in my, I'm not picking them up in the reflection on my bottle of varnish that I'm using as a reference here. So I don't know, this is, yeah, it's not reading that great on camera because all of that base color of black that I put in is very matte. Um, so yeah, the blue's looking a little weird on camera. It's looking a little weird in person too, but I think it will work in the long run. It's just going to be a little hard to judge till all of the paint dries a bit, and we'll see. Anyway, I'm not going to go crazy with the blue. Just leave those little bits in for now. I've got it on my palette, so if I find a opportunity to sneak more of that blue in, I will. When I first started, so just for those who don't know, Art Autopsy, this whole event started actually as an in-person event. I um, used to host this event at Hyena Gallery in Burbank, and we would always get other guest artists to show, but the gallery would also set out tables and stuff, and any artist who want could come to the gallery and just make art with me and the rest of the special guests and stuff, which is a really cool event. And then COVID happened and lots of things, and we just didn't do it. And eventually I brought back the event, but just online streaming. But I'd love to get to do this in person again and just give other artists the opportunity to come out and make art in front of people. It's certainly a different experience than making art just by yourself when no one's watching. Forces you to embrace the mistakes because you're going to make them no matter what. So but yeah, I do kind of miss the live event aspect of it. And before I was doing that, I was part of an art collective that was run by an artist named Cam Rackham. He kind of organized this band of misfit artists, and we would go around and do live paintings at conventions. So we would do a lot of horror conventions and tattoo conventions and stuff like that. And he set it up, I think he called it art battles. So it would be like we'd have these massive canvases, I don't know, 5-6 foot canvases or whatever. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe they weren't that big, but they seemed pretty big. And it would be 2 artists per canvas. And we would just, he called it art battles, but really it was more of art collaboration. We would just work on these massive paintings in front of crowds at these conventions, and it was super fun. And also gave me the opportunity to not only get to watch other artists work who were rad artists that I loved their work, but to also get to make art with them, which was kind of a cool experience as well. I'm not much of a team player. I do prefer working alone, but every now and again, when you get the opportunity to collaborate with someone whose art you love, I recommend taking that opportunity. Yeah, Fangoria, the magazine, um, used to do their own conventions. It would be the Fangoria conventions, and for the longest time, those were the biggest horror conventions in the country. So back when Fangoria was doing conventions, we would live paint. I think we did the very last Fangoria convention in Los Angeles, in fact. Um, but now, of course, there's a multitude of other convention options out there in the horror space, but I'll always carry a lot of nostalgia for those Fangoria ones. Sorry, I'm missing some chats. Let me catch up here. Uh, Mel and Alex asks, using acrylic or oil? I'm using oil. Um, but the originally I just laid down the flat black is an acrylic that will all eventually get covered. But the stuff I'm painting with right now is oil. Um, Charlie, hey Charlie, thanks for watching. Says looking good, very different from previous weeks. Yeah, this one's going to be quite different. It's gonna have a ways to go before it's looking really good, but yeah, just trying something new on this one. Michael says, does that skeleton glow in the dark, or is it just neon green? It does glow in the dark, yes. um, Undead of Night says, I think the highlight and the refracted light on the left forehead looks great. Thank you very much. Um, cool. And yeah, thank you guys. And Liz says, looking great. Love the contrast, seeing the reflective glass already. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the encouragement, guys. It's, yeah, this one, I have a feeling this is going to be one of those paintings that I'm going to be noodling around with for a long time just to try to get the look that I want. But at least, we've made some progress. I keep having these songs that I'm working on stuck in my head, and I'm quite sure that I'm driving my wife crazy with them because I keep randomly bursting into song throughout the day to try to work my way through these melodies. But I just found myself whistling one of them and had to stop myself. I forget people are watching. But I guess that's good. If a melody is getting stuck in my head for one of the songs I'm working on, that generally means good things for it. If it gets stuck in my head, that hopefully means it'll get stuck in someone else's head. Oh, also just a reminder for, again, well, now that we've established that most of the people watching in aren't in LA, this I guess won't matter to a lot of you. But for those that are in LA, just a reminder, my painting Autumn Fragments is going to be continue to be at Descanso Gardens in La Cañada Flint Ridge at the Sturt Hogger Gallery there. It's going to be up through January 4th. So if you want a chance to see it in person, that's the painting I did of a squirrel for those who are following along. Yeah, so it's up there through January 6th. 4th. January 4th. And it is still available for purchase as well. If anybody out there wants it, it is available through the gallery, but I did notice when I was at the gallery, there's no signage up there that indicates to anybody that the paintings in the gallery are for sale, which makes me wonder how they sell anything if people don't know it's for sale. But in any case, it is. Yeah, I'm just trying to smooth some of these lines. So yeah, so far so good. It's an interesting exercise. Guess we'll see how the painting turns out in the long run. That will probably affect my opinion on the process overall. Michael says, the squirrel painting you did reminds me of my pet red-tailed squirrel, Reese. You actually have a pet squirrel, Michael? That is awesome. Like a live-in-the-house squirrel, or like just a squirrel buddy that comes by and visits you? I do not have, I have tons of squirrel buddies that come by and visit because, I give them peanuts, peanuts, but I don't have a live-in-the-house squirrel. For good reason, though. My cats would eat them. Yeah, so the surface I'm working on is it's like a masonite, a board, basically. It's a board. It's wood, and then it came pre-gessoed, and I did give it a light sanding before I put the black base coat on it, but I didn't sand it super smooth, and I'm kind of wishing that I had gone a little smoother with it before I got into before I started painting, because I do feel that it's absorbing a lot of my paint pretty quickly. But that's all right. We will power through it. Yeah, let's see. Just cover up sometimes I just cover up just to give myself visually an understanding of, like, if I cover up the parts that I haven't done any refinement work on yet, it allows me to just look at the stuff I've been working on, adding more detail into, and judge it a little better, judge it more harshly. Oh, Michael had to set his squirrel free. Well, I'm sure she appreciated that, though. That's cool, though, that you got to have that experience with the squirrel. And Undead of Night says it's really reading as glass. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's hard to be objective about it. Yeah, when I'm this close to it and just working on it nonstop. But yeah, I think you're right. I think once I take a break from it and come back to it, it'll be a little easier to judge what's working and what's not. And then I have a feeling too, I might be putting too much detail in certain areas where it isn't warranted for a glass ornament, and I'm sure I'll have areas that don't have enough detail, so I'm sure that's going to be a constant back and forth as I figure that aspect of it out. But yeah, that's why it always takes me multiple sessions to work on a painting, because it helps to have those breaks in between sessions so that you can really better judge what's working and what's not. Yeah, I'm going to stand up and take a step back, just assess it a bit from a distance. Yeah, it's hard for me to say that personally whether or not I think it's working yet. I'm going to need the distance of time in between me and this session to really know for sure. But, push comes to shove. If I completely fail at the glass look, I can always just convert it into a painting of Krampus. A regular ass flesh and blood Krampus. But obviously the goal is to try to make this glass look work. And maybe the answer to really capturing the glass look will be to have something in the background of the image that can, other imagery that can refract and bend around the shape of the glass in reflections. That might be the thing that sells it ultimately. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Nothing is off the table yet. I think I was headed in this direction earlier when I was talking about how Art Autopsy started, but then I derailed my own thoughts. But my point in bringing up kind of the history of Art Autopsy and just getting back to doing these as live streams this year is that it has really forced me to continually paint. I keep so busy with all kinds of different creative projects. Um, in any given year, I'm working on a ton of films and art and sculptures and music and so forth. But oftentimes, because I'm doing so many things, I just am not producing a large amount of paintings. I've After the pandemic, when most of the galleries shut down and I just didn't have anywhere to show for a while, I went a couple of years where I literally didn't finish one painting. I started a ton of them, but yeah, I still have a stack of unfinished paintings from post 2020. So getting back and doing this live stream, um, I've been building up a new body of work just with all of this, and it's super fun. And that's one thing too. If you continue to come to this live stream, or even this live stream aside, you don't need me to make art. You can make it on your own. But if you set a date for yourself, and it's every 2 weeks or every week or every day, and I encourage the everyday thing if you're in it to win it. Just set aside some time to practice your craft, and not only will you get better faster than you can imagine, but you're going to end up with a body of work. And it's really cool just to uh, see multiple pieces of your own creative output hanging next to each other on a wall. Something really cool about that. And then whenever I finish a painting, or actually while I'm working on a painting, I'll throw it on my easel, and then I'll put the painting that I just did next to it, or sometimes I'll surround it with maybe the most recent 4 or 5 paintings, just to see, because then you kind of have a clear picture. It's like, oh, that was the last month or two of my life in images. Anyway, it's a cool little thing. You have a visual representation of what you did with your life at that time, and so it becomes kind of a document of that point in time of your life, of all the creative works. So anyway, I like making art. I hope you do too. Let's see. Undead of Night asks, "Is that another Krampus to the top left of your canvas?" Yeah, that's my. I was talking about that earlier. That's the animatronic Krampus that I made for YouTube. There's a YouTube video on the making of that. So I took a Christmas Caroler animatronic and I turned it into that Krampus last year. So yeah, check out, there's a whole video on making that. It was super fun. I need to, that's one thing I've, most of my YouTube content lately has just been shorts and on painting and stuff, but I do owe my YouTube subscribers some more prop build kind of videos, because that's kind of how this channel started out. Well, it started out just me showing my music videos, but then it turned into like a prop build channel, and now it's kind of more of a painting channel. I'm all over the place, man. I just like doing too many things to choose just one thing. Mel asks if I'm using acrylics. No, I'm using oil. And I am thinning it out with, depending on the brush stroke and what specifically I'm trying to do, sometimes I'm thinning it out with Liquin, which is a medium that accelerates dry time and also thins out the paint. And then sometimes I'm thinning it out directly with odorless terpenoid. So I am painting very thin in general. because I'm diluting it in either odorless terpenoid or liquid, depending on what stroke I'm doing at the time. You could just as easily do this in acrylic. You're right. I think my stream froze again, or at least it did on my end. Okay, we're back. I don't know if my audio cut out or whatever, but to answer the question, I'm using oil. Just repeating myself in case the audio cut out. But yeah, you could certainly do all of these techniques in acrylic just fine. It's a matter of what you get used to. I used to paint. I mean, I switched mediums many times over the years, but there was a stretch of several years where I was pretty much exclusively doing acrylic. And then one of my friends talked me into giving oil a shot again. I had tried out oil when I was a kid and was not very good at it, and I just gave up too early on it. And one of my friends talked me into giving it a try again, and I rediscovered it anew and never looked back. So I've been primarily just doing oil for the last 15 years or so. But I still have every kind of paint you can imagine on hand, so I will still dabble in other types of paint. But if I could only pick one, I would pick oil. See, Michael says, I like your cheap mask overhaul videos, which are my favorite, like the Dawn of the Dead mask. Oh, thanks, man. I actually somewhat recently, bought another cheap mask to do an overhaul on. So there will likely be another one of those videos coming sometime in the future. I actually bought, I found them. I don't want to ruin it, but I found a mask that was super cheap, and it was like a knockoff of a mask that I legit love from the 1980s. So it's clearly someone was knocking off this mask. So I bought like 3 copies of it because it was so cheap, and the idea is I want to get some of my friends who are mask making professionals and have us all do revamps on this same mask and see who can come up with the coolest revamp to try to make it look like a real legit mask that you would actually want to own. But yeah, haven't got around to that yet. I've got the masks over there in the corner of my garage, just collecting dust until I get around to that. So one day we'll be getting back to that. Mel and Alex says they tried oils years ago and couldn't get used to the thickness. Yeah, so yeah, you absolutely don't have to paint thick. I paint very thin in general. I mean, if you were to look at this in person, you'll see there's there's where you see the bold white marks. I mean, that's a little thicker, but even that, it's still relatively pretty thin. I don't paint. Yeah, I don't go thick with it. But also, there's lots of ways to treat oil. Some people like to go in with bold, thick blotches of paint, and that's fine. I'm more of a paint in layers. I'll do an underpainting typically, and then I'll glaze in colors on top of it, and I'll let those different layers of color shine through and affect the layers underneath, and you can really only do that if you're painting thin. yeah, that's typically how I work. Every once in a while I'll get a wild hair and I'll just commit to a color and go in with thick paint. But yeah, certainly give it a shot, you know. I highly recommend trying, again, liquid. That's what it looks like. That's my medium of choice. Yeah, normally I know there's a few of you on here that are new to the stream, but this is not typically this is atypical for a lot of what I normally paint on the stream. I mean, I guess I don't really have, I paint something different every time, but usually it's not such a simple subject as a Christmas ornament. You know, I'm usually going a little more detailed than that. So if I highly recommend, yeah, subscribing and then just checking out future streams, because I always try to paint something a little different each time, and I try to showcase different techniques every time, just to make it somewhat useful for you. The hope is that you can watch any different episode and learn a little something new, if you're interested in learning about oil paint. When we were doing the in-person event, there's at least one event, maybe two, where instead of painting, I just sculpted. So might do that. This year I'm going to keep going with the painting thing, but maybe next year we'll do a sculpting episode or something like that, if I get a wild hair up my whatnot. Yeah, the thing too, when you paint with oil and you paint thick, the dry time in between sessions on that is brutal. Um, Depending on how the thicker you paint, the longer you have to wait before it dries. Now, there's a lot of artists that paint like that, that just finish a painting in one sitting, which is very impressive. I've rarely, I don't want to say never, but rarely do I finish a painting in a single sitting. Um, but I guess if you're painting super thick and having to deal with that crazy dry time in between sessions, that would certainly motivate you to to try to finish in one sitting. Let's see. Okay, well, I think we're coming up on 9 o'clock, so I think we're going to wind down for the day. Made some progress, right? It's looking okay. Still has a lot of work to go, I think, before I'd want to call it finished. But yeah, I think the bones of it are there. I think maybe 2 or 3 more sessions on it, um, and it could be pretty cool. You know, I'll probably end up adding some additional detail in the reflections. I'll have to think about whether or not I want anything in the background. I'll probably add some hook or something coming off of there, so really really accent that this is metal. It's going to be a brass piece or something like that, just to really sell that it's a Christmas ornament and so forth. But yeah, I think that that's a good stopping point for right now. I think if I come back, don't look at it for a day or two, and come back with fresh eyes, I'll be able to see new things about where it needs to go. Yeah, let's see what's happening in the chat here. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, we're going to call it for tonight. I thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. 2 weeks from now, I will be back. I don't think that overlaps Thanksgiving. No, Thanksgiving's next week. Yeah, so 2 weeks from now, we'll be back. I'll show you guys how this turned out. Hopefully, I'll have it finished by then. If not, I'll show you where it's at, and we'll start something new. So thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate you. Don't forget to email me photos of whatever you worked on during the live stream. clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. Appreciate you guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you on the next live stream.